Hey guys, Bobby Bollinger here, and today I'll be bringing you a new edition of my NFL predictions. This time, Week 5. Now, last week, it just shows that we don't know what the heck is going on in the NFL anymore. The Patriots aren't controlling their division. The Bills are good, the Jets are winning. I don't know what's going on. So everyone's struggling this year. Me, I've been burned by the Browns so many times. And I now stand at 30-33. But I'm getting tired of this. Okay, Thursday night game. Obviously the Patriots won. That's kind of what I expected to happen, but I didn't want it to happen. And if it weren't for Nick Folk missing 3 field goals, it would not have happened. The Buccaneers should have won the game. Now, I don't blame Folk for missing that 56-yard field goal. That's a fairly long one. But the other 2, I will blame him for, and those would also have won the game. So, it was so painful to watch. And then on the very last play, that Clemson tight end just doesn't look back for the ball. I hate that when I play backyard football with my siblings. It's like, I want to throw the ball. You're open. I want to throw it to you. But you're not looking at me. It's so painful when that happens. I expected the Patriots to make a little bounce back here. They kind of did. But another thing that I think the Bucs made beat themselves was they abandoned Doug Martin really early. And for no reason either, because he was doing well. I don't know why they stepped away from him, because they were not that far behind when they stepped away from him. His production wasn't going down when they stepped away from him. They just stepped away for no reason. Same. 49ers versus Colts. Well, the Colts quarterback thing is finally starting to get to a passable state. To the point where I will take them against the 49ers because the Colts are improving and there are tools that a quarterback can use. Plus, the defense does look pretty well improved. And while we technically got blown out last week, we held our own for a good long while. So I'm proud of that. We can get a 4th rounder out of Brissett after the all said and done, I'm sure. Okay, Jets versus Browns. You know how last week I said I'm never going to pick the Browns to win a game again? Yeah, well, I'm sticking by that, because the Jets, while they have squeaked out surprising wins, they have won. And the Browns, they haven't. I think their main problem is that their O-line is terrible, and the Jets, since they do have a good D-line, will be able to exploit that to no end. Okay, Jaguars versus Steelers. The Jaguars are weird this year. Like, sometimes they'll be great, sometimes they'll suck. It is unexplainable. Meanwhile, the Steelers have lost to the Bears before. But I trust that the Steelers are a more solid team than the Jaguars. Chargers-Giants. Which team is going to bounce back first and get their win first? The answer, I think, is Giants. Because I'm just not sure why. I just have this feeling the Giants will win, and they have a good defense, and it should help shut the Chargers down a bit. Meanwhile, the Chargers won't have much to shut down the Giants, though the Giants will be shutting down themselves as well. I just take the Giants here, because they have been improving even though they've lost. Bills-Bengals, holy crap. The Bills. I wasn't sold on them when they beat the Broncos. And I wouldn't have been sold on them when they beat the Falcons if they hadn't beat the Broncos. But in the span of 2 weeks, they beat a playoff contender that was extremely defensive and whose offense loves running the ball, and then went and beat a playoff contender whose team is high-octane offense and loves to throw the ball. Two completely different teams, and they went and beat them in basically the same way. So, I'm not sold on the Bills taking the AFC East yet, but they're definitely a good team now. And they're definitely good enough to beat up the Bengals, who cruise by the Browns, sure, but Browns. Next, Lions-Panthers. Panthers riding on the coattails of a huge victory over the Patriots, and then were slammed into a huge burning pile of controversy with Cam Newton being, I'm going to say it PG, a jerk. Insert your own thoughts there. So they might have lost the momentum they gained there. And I think the Panthers are a very momentum-oriented team. Like, if they start doing poorly, it's going to snowball. If they start doing well, it's going to snowball. Here, I think their victory against the Patriots outweighs what Cam Newton said and the controversy around that. So I'm going to go with the Panthers because I trust their defense to take out the Lions, who were pretty much stuffed by the Vikings, and they're up against another defensive team, except this defensive team actually has their quarterback. I saw that the NFL rankings for the Lions put them at number 2 in the league. How the hell did that happen? That is unexplainable and stupid. I like the Lions, but they haven't earned that spot yet. I'll take the Panthers here to grind them out. Titans-Dolphins. Well, turns out the proven loser in Adam Gase's offense is a proven loser. Yeah, Jay Cutler, I never once thought he was a good idea to bring in, and look who's been validated. I caught so much flack in my comment section for that. All 2 comments. Anyway, the Titans take this. They bounce back after an ugly loss to the Texans that came on the backs of terrible defensive planning. Like, what the hell were they doing? The secondary was terrible. Even for the Titans. But I trust the Titans to win here because they can stuff the run. And when Jay Cutler's your quarterback, the run's all you got. And take that away, Dolphins not going to do too well. Cardinals, Eagles. I'm just going to take the Eagles here because they're a flat-out better team in possibly every way, though probably not the secondary. That's probably the only disadvantage they have. Raiders, Ravens. Well, last week the Raiders put up a good fight against the Broncos, who are a very good defensive team who actually does have a functioning offense. Baltimore is a very good defensive team that does not have a functioning offense. And I expect the Raiders to do quite a number on Joe Flacco. And as for their offense, without Derek Carr, the times they didn't have Derek Carr during their Broncos game, they didn't look bad. Like, last season when they lost Carr, they just completely fell apart. It was like watching the Browns. Now, it's not Derek Carr quality, but against a lesser opponent, it should be good enough, even if they don't have Carr, to get a win. Seahawks, Rams. Whoo! This game is actually really important to me because, as of right now, I don't think the Rams' offense will do well against elite defenses. And this is kind of their chance to prove it, as the Seahawks have rebounded. I'm going to take the Seahawks because I'm not sure Jared Goff and Todd Gurley can handle an elite defense. They've definitely improved, but I'm not sure that offense can handle it. Meanwhile, their defense is surprisingly the worst part about the team, which is weird when you have Aaron Donald and Wade Phillips. But whatever, I trust the Seahawks to take this victory, and they're going to start reclaiming the West soon. Packers, Cowboys. Two struggling teams. Packers, technically they're 3-1, but you can see some huge issues in them. Meanwhile, for the Cowboys, the offense is doing fine. In their loss to the Rams, they scored enough points to win most games, but that defense is terrible. Holy crap. Like, any defense is better than the Cowboys' defense, I'm fairly certain. Something needs to change. They need to fire whoever was drafting for him, because he failed. Their defensive coach needs to be looked at, because things aren't going well there either. Offense is just fine, but it needs help. As for who wins this, it's a close call. I can see it going either way. I'm going to go with Cowboys because I don't want to see them going under 50 on the season, because I know their offense is better than that. I know Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott are better than that, but who knows if it'll actually happen. Okay, Chiefs-Texans. Big game. The Chiefs are going to take this easily. People are so high on praising Deshaun Watson, but I don't see it. Yeah, he did well against the Titans when their secondary sucked. He scraped by the Bengals, who suck. He demolished the Patriots secondary, which sucks. And his first game, he wasn't even starting, so everything he's done, all the good stuff he's done, is against bad secondary. So this is the first time he gets to meet a good one. And I don't trust him against good secondaries at all. Meanwhile, Kareem Hunt and Alex Smith are both continuing their hunt for MVP. Kareem Hunt won't get it because screw running backs, only QBs can win MVP, but he's gonna try. And final game, Vikings versus Bears. Now, with or without Sam Bradford, I'm taking the Vikings. What it looks like is that they'll be without Sam Bradford, which is a shame. Also, this is Mitch Trubisky's first start of the NFL season. And you know the thing about quarterbacks who are drafted, don't start the first few games, but then are put in out of desperation? They tend to freaking suck. Like, it's usually terrible. So going into the draft, I didn't trust Mitch Trubisky at all. And until he shows me something I can trust, I'm going to assume that a really good Vikings defense is going to demolish him. If you disagree with me, leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll see you next time. Ugh. Yeah. I'll see you next time. Good day.